Should I do hood up today? Would that be like chic if I was like
Yes, please. Please, because you're leading the episode, please have the hood up the whole time.
Ooh.
Do you ever actually remember wearing a hood up wearing a hood up when it wasn't raining or something like that? Like, I don't think there are some people that will just walk around with their hoods on. And I don't think
I walk
I've
around
ever
with
done
my
that.
hood on all the time. But I'm a
Even
boy.
when it's not
so
raining?
I feel like, yeah, if it's cold.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah, if it's cold. Like a winter
Not normally,
coat.
but I don't normally wear hoodies though. Like generally.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I just don't think I would ever wear a hood unless it was actively cold or raining.
No, but I do feel like this era with the like Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter of it all, whenever there was like a hooded garment, I was like, I'm Arwen.
Yeah. You're like, ooh. Well, enough talking about J.R.R. Tolkien's.
Mm-hmm.
Tolkien's. I never know if it's Tolkien or Tolkien.
I feel like everyone says it differently. I don't know what the official pronunciation is.
This week we read chapter 7 called The Will of Albus Dumbledore. Adam, what happens in this chapter?
A ministry official visits on Harry's 17th birthday to present the items that Albus Dumbledore has bequeathed in his will. Thank
you for using the word bequeathed.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Well said. Do you think that he purposefully was like, I'm going to hold out and then make sure I can come on his birthday? Because the ministry has that information.
I guess they could know that, but the way it's phrased in the scene makes it seem like they've been holding on to these items since June 30th.
Yeah.
Because it's 31 days after. Well, we'll talk about it when
That's
we get there,
convenient.
Yeah.
So June 30th, do we know for sure June 30th was the day, like, was it a couple days after Albus perished?
Yeah, I guess, like, when did everything, because we know that the Hogwarts school year goes until June.
Yes,
sometime in June is when it ends.
Yeah.
But I'm so curious how deep into June it gets, because then if it's like, here's the thing. If it's like he every year, every summer was just going back to the Dursleys for like a week or a week and a half before he was carted off again somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care.
Yeah, that's not long at all. I mean, I guess what? Because September 1st is the first day of school. So if they get out of class or like the school year ends.
Yeah.
June 28th, let's say, because like they would have stayed. People just stayed after for the funeral, didn't they? Like technically school was already out. So then if July 1st, they're all like going home. Then what? July, August, they have 2 months.
They have 2 full months, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think their Christmas break is longer.
Like a whole month or something?
I don't know. I guess I don't know for sure. I just feel like, let me look up.
They have to have time off. Like what British schooling is like.
Is Christmas break in UK? Oh, 2 weeks. Oh, 2 weeks for Christmas and Easter.
Okay, yeah. So they got a longer Easter break because we only get 1 week.
Yeah, we just get spring break. And that doesn't even technically correlate to Easter specifically.
Mm.
So the chapter starts, Harry is mid-dream. He is dreaming about a man. He's dreaming about a man, guys. He's looking for a man. And you know what? We're here for this new era of Harry. He's in his bi era.
His bi era girl.
He broke up with
Ginny. It's not
Bill.
It's another man.
He's trying out new things. No, he is again connected with Voldy. He wakes up and Ron is like, hey, you were talking in your sleep. You were looking for someone named Grigorovich.
Yeah, what a name.
What a name. They have no idea who that is. And And then Ron is like, could you have been talking about Gorgovich? Because he's a Quidditch player that had the most quaffles that he like fumbled in the past. And Harry was like, no, that wasn't.
No, girl. That's not what I'm
No.
thinking about.
But he does instruct Ron to not tell Hermione that they're still linked.
Oh,
Although Harry brings up a good point, because I do not know how you would like, even if he had mastered legilimency and occlumency and the whole thing, how do you do that in your sleep?
Yeah, you're asleep.
So yeah. Anyway, it's the morning of his birthday. This whole chapter takes place in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Harry. He's so thrilled because he now doesn't have the trace on him. So now he can, oh girl,
Yeah, okay.
I know. No, yeah, go ahead. Start us off. Let's go.
So if we're supposed to believe what we've been told about this, the reason why they can trace his magic is because he's at Privet Drive. So now he's been at the Burrow for how long now? Shouldn't he have been able to be doing magic there and it wouldn't matter because they have this entire wizarding family of a very large family? But like, right. I don't even think that matters. I think it's just they have registered adult wizards in this area. So why does it matter? Because it was like he waited then until he turned 17, which I was like, fine, I guess if you're a stickler for the rules and you really want to do that. But you could have been doing magic technically if we're going off of what we have been told about why like he got in trouble for the magic.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, you're right.
Makes no sense.
I can't answer. It seems to be that it's both. So there are times where she wants it specifically to be like, it's Harry specific. Like they know where Harry is. And like if Harry does magic, then they would figure it out. But then there's times where it's like, oh, it's just like the area that Harry's at is more of what it is. So it's like, it just depends on her mood. It depends on the book.
Exactly.
Because obviously when Dobby does magic and he gets the letter for it, that's the problem that throws off all of this.
Yeah.
And also, I still feel like house elf magic is different from wizarding magic, so it wouldn't even register as the same type of magic.
Differently. Yeah.
Who knows?
Girl.
And also if he lived in a place, because wizards also just live everywhere. Not everybody lives in the Burrow, which is like on this farm out by itself in the middle of nowhere, right? Like he could have been living in Privet Drive and next door was a fully qualified wizard. Like,
and we know there's more than one wizarding family around the Weasleys because of like book 4 with the whole Quidditch World Cup situation. So I'm like, it shouldn't matter at all then if he's here. Like, I just don't.
I feel like it makes more sense. I feel like it would have made sense if it was like when you get a wand at 11 years old or whatever, you have to register your wand and then they know that anytime that wand does magic, blah, blah, blah. And then she should have written it that like Dobby took Harry's wand and used it. And then that's what sets all the problems off, right?
Yes. Yeah. It just needed to be more specific. I think it was like the books kept going and then she just like kind of tried to clean it up a little bit, but it didn't work.
Well, but then this is also the problem is like only wizards are allowed to use wands. So like it's such a big deal in book 4 that like Winky takes the wand. So like she didn't even want to bring that into the Dobby. I don't know. I mean, like it's not even worth to harp on. We've talked about it so many times.
Yeah.
This is the last time we will ever talk about it, luckily.
We got to do it just for old time's sake, y'all. Because it's the final book.
It's like genuinely something that it really is just, you have to believe whatever she says in the context around the sentence.
Yeah, exactly. It just is
so whatever it is for that moment is whatever the trace is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the trace is the trace and sometimes it's the trace. You know what I mean?
The trace. Yeah. It was very strange. I knew that, well, I assumed that like you were going to have a note about that as well. Because when I was listening to it, I was like, you did not have to wait, technically, because you're at the Burrow. Like,
right.
they're
I
doing
mean, like,
magic
they're
there
all
all the
supposed to
time.
wait because you have to wait until you're 17. So if you want to be like, oh, I like Molly and Arthur didn't want him to use magic
Yes,
because
yeah.
it's illegal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't even understand how the trace would work. Because I feel like earlier in the book series, she says like kids who are wizards in wizarding households, it's up to their parents
Yes,
to
it's
like
up
make
to the
sure that
exactly. She does say
they
that.
don't.
It's up to the
Yeah,
parents. Yes.
to like make sure that they don't do mad.
That's why it's so weird, because I'm just like, and then also the kids could have just been doing magic really all the time, like in their bedroom
Right.
secretly all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. And also, it's just specifically spells. You can still go fly your broom. You can
Yeah,
still
yeah, you
like
can
you
still
could like
use
brew
magical
potions if you
objects.
wanted to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's
I don't
so
know.
interesting.
Yeah.
So now that he is free of the trace, he can, Accio his glasses. He can tie his trainers with not well, by the way. He doesn't know how to
No.
tie a shoelace well. I'm very concerned that he doesn't know how to use magic.
Well, also some of the
like-
things he's trying out, like changing color on posters, I'm like, what the hell spell is that?
I know.
Is that a
he's
charm? Where did
he's
that
doing
come
it
from?
all.
Yeah.
So Ron gives him his first gift of the day. This is a big day for Harry. He's going to receive a lot of gifts today.
Mm-hmm.
So he receives the first gift of the day, which is a book from Ron. Very interesting. And it is I think he says, "You've never given me a book before."
Yeah. He's like,
but didn't Ron give him? Oh no, he gave Ron a Chudley Cannon's book.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Ron gives him a book called The 12 Fail-Safe Ways to Charm Witches. And this is a teach a wizard how to seduce a lady.
How to woo a woman.
Yeah.
How to woo a witch.
Now this story takes place in 1990 blah blah blah. I think it's 97 technically is when this whole
this
technically
year.
This
book
year
7. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe 96 because we're going into 1997 because the battle takes place in May of 97.
Right.
Like but whatever.
Yes.
I would feel way more comfortable with this book coming out in 1996 or whatever than if it was released today, because the book that would be released today would be like, tell a witch she's your bitch.
Yeah, like negging.
Like it would just be the most alpha male garbage energy.
Yeah, I thought about that, like that type of. I was like, you know what? We can at least be grateful that this is actually trying to teach wizards, male wizards. That
and
like
it's so crazy.
Or I guess no, it doesn't even have to be male. It just says how to woo witches specifically. So for anyone that is interested in dating a witch, this is what they should read.
Mm-hmm. I think that I'm going to assume that fellow witches don't need any instructions on how to date other witches or how to woo them, but you never know. You never know.
The thing is that always makes me laugh about this kind of thing. Because there's a lot of discussion happening in the zeitgeist right now with Adolescence being released on Netflix.
Yes.
Have y'all watched that?
No, and I will not.
You won't watch it? Okay.
No.
We watched it. And then the prime minister over here was like, yeah, we need to do something about this. And I was like, oh yeah, don't listen to the like hundreds of thousands of women that have been telling you need to do something about this. But now that
for millennia.
But now that there's this 4-part series on Netflix, yeah. I'm like, I mean, I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that men are talking about it. Like, it was a male filmmaker that did this, obviously. But I'm like,
yeah,
it shouldn't take it getting to this point. Come on, just listen to us when we tell you that things are taking a turn.
I know
right now. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, the it's just so wild to me that it's like the book should be so easy. It would be like, just show a genuine interest in what she likes. Treat her like she's a human being. Make sure you pay attention to the things that she's good at and compliment her on those, like address the things that you realize that she has a knack for, blah, 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 blah. Also, if she's not interested in you, leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
The end. Like,
the end.
I just don't. Also, you should
Thank you for your 5 galleons.
You should want to be with someone that wants to be with you as well. Like, if someone doesn't want to be with you, you don't have to be like, oh my God, they're a horrible person. But you can be like, that person doesn't see what I bring to the table. Mm-hmm. But obviously that would mean that you already see that other person as someone worthy of respect, which is what is missing sometimes if you have been indoctrinated into thinking that women are like an object that you can just not treat like an actual human being.
The biggest red flag is men who refer to women as females.
It
is like,
yeah.
Bah, bah, bah.
But yeah, I always just think that's so interesting when there's these like how-to books, and I'm like, literally just like see her for what she is and appreciate her. What? Why do we need a tutorial? What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, clearly Ron did.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing that I want to be clear that I don't think any man or boy should need something like this. But I do like that that Ron starts addressing or like calling attention to the things that Hermione is good at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I'm like, you do need to like appreciate her and call out the things that you see that she is good at. You need to say that to her because she deserves that. But it's crazy that you needed a book to tell you that, boy.
Yeah. I don't really understand. I am a person who I like part of my love language is like joking with people and like teasing them. Like if I do that to you, it means I really like you and like I feel very comfortable with you.
Yeah. You like to have that rapport with the people you love.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do think like I don't understand. I feel like there's this pervasive thought in like hetero nonsense that it's like, oh, boys and girls tease each other and that means they like each other. And I'm like,
yeah, what is it? There's a term for it over here. Oh, banter. Like,
well, why does that?
Proper banter.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't understand. So this is the book that Ron has given Harry. I hope he can use it in the future. Although,
what, Ron? When is he going to use this?
When they're out looking for Voldemort.
Yeah, this one we literally touch on this in a little bit when he's talking to Ginny. I'm like,
yeah,
Ron, when is he going to have the time to be wooing women?
Yeah. Girl. They go downstairs for breakfast, and Mr. and Mrs. Weasley have given Harry a gift. Apparently, wizards, when they turn 17, when they become of age, they get a watch. Mm-hmm. So they give Harry a watch. But unlike Ron's, Harry's is a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet.
Yeah, I loved it.
And so he like gives Mrs. Weasley a really big hug, and it's very sweet. Mm-hmm. He also gets a few other gifts from Hermione. He gets a sneakoscope. From the Delacours, he gets an enchanted razor.
Wait, why did Hermione give him a sneakoscope? I totally missed that. Just when they're going to be out. He was like,
here's a new sneakoscope. I mean, it's a better gift for what they're about to do.
Oh, I know. Yes, that's true. It's the most considerate gift for what's about to happen. That's true. Yeah. Maybe she's like, here to keep us safe when we're traveling around. That's true.
The Delacours get him an enchanted razor.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. No, that's Bill and Fleur give him enchanted razor. The Delacours give him some chocolates. And then the twins give him some Weasley Wizard Wheezes merch.
Oh, it isn't the Delacours that give him that. It's just her dad like
explains about it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So he must have or Fleur must have got the idea from him.
Yeah, it's like an enchanted razor that like gives you the closest shave you could ever get, but also it might.
But you have to be really specific.
You have to be vigilant on what you want.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Ginny invites Harry up into her room. Excuse me. This is a
Ginny.
scandalo. So he goes into the room and they have a little moment. There's this
Adam.
moment. Oh no, don't worry, I wrote it down.
I know. I knew. I could not wait for you to talk about this.
Let me open it.
Please go ahead.
Why does she do this?
I don't know, Adam. I don't understand it.
There are these lines that she writes in this book series where you go, I understand your
perception of femininity and women.
Of people. Yeah. What you think is valuable. Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
Exhausting. She's exhausting.
I didn't know what would be. She says she didn't get him a gift.
Yeah.
She didn't know what she would get him. I didn't know it would be useful. Nothing too big because you wouldn't be able to take it with you. He chanced to glance at her. Which also, what were you looking at if you weren't looking at her while she was talking? He chanced to glance
Harry,
at her.
you know what? You do need to read this book Ron gave you.
It'll be like maintain eye contact with people.
Yeah.
She was not tearful. That was one of the many wonderful things about Ginny. She was rarely weepy. He had sometimes thought that having 6 brothers must have toughened her up.
I know. I want to throw the book.
It is so crazy to reread this book series and be like, Joe Rowling hates femininity.
Just like, any type of like emotional expression, vulnerability, like that. It's so strange. But specifically, she talks about how in women not having those qualities is so like, is like she's a cool girl. She's not like other girls. It's like that bullshit.
It's so strange.
Gross. Yeah. I remember when I read this that I thought this was weird, like even when I was young. But that is because I was raised by like a therapist who obviously was very much like emotions are normal. But I just remember being like, what? He likes her because she doesn't cry.
It would be one thing for him to be like, he glanced to her checking to see if, because obviously last time they had the conversation out in the garden, she like got upset that he was like, I'm leaving. I can't tell you, like whatever.
Yeah.
So it would be like he wanted to see if she was crying again, which she wasn't. He felt relieved that he wouldn't have to deal with that or something like that, because we know that Harry feels very comfortable with emotions.
Yeah.
I just hate that it then becomes a statement about like Ginny's qualities as a woman are good because she doesn't cry.
Yes, because she's more like a man, emotionless like men should be.
It's so strange to me.
Yeah.
Because like obviously like we've already in this book so far had Hermione cry over Mad Eye, like last chapter when she was like talking about it. And so it makes me, then you like start to be like, I obviously don't think Harry is like looking at her in any like kind of like romantic interest, but does he look at her and he's like, ugh, it's so annoying that she like cry, like,
that she's emotional.
I genuinely don't understand and this is like a globe. This isn't a Joe Rowling. This is like everyone on Earth, pretty much every culture.
Yeah. Has
pretty much decided that like excessive emotion is bad, or like any kind of crying does not, you want to be seen as strong, and like it's
emotionless.
It's not fortitude if you're constantly crying or whatever. But Ginny has not constantly cried.
No, that as well. I don't think we've ever really seen her cry, other than maybe in like book 2. Because I think she was possessed.
I think she cries at the end of the last book when they have their breakup scene. Like I think she like wells up or something like that.
Oh, okay.
From what I remember, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but I think you're right.
Remember.
Like, yes, she has not had a bunch of scenes where she like gets upset. Like, obviously, Hermione in the last book cried a lot, especially about like the whole Ron situation.
Yeah, Hermione has always like been weepy, like has been a very tearful. She's had very tearful moments throughout the books.
Yeah.
It just is so strange that like you said, it's very revealing that she like felt like she needed to include this as like the description, like, because I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
don't get it. And even with the whole like British kind of like stiff upper lip, even with that, even like trying to think about that, it's like it still doesn't, the way that she is talking about it, I'm like, it still doesn't, that isn't even enough for me to like make sense of this. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just wish it wasn't a comment on her value as a girl.
Yeah, I know.
If it was just an observation that she wasn't crying and that she frequently doesn't cry, and that was it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that's why he liked her.
Yes, I
she
know.
was void of emotion.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Yeah, yikes.
So anyway, then they make out.
Yep. She's like, I want to give you something to remember me by.
They snog. They snuggle
a good old snog.
And then Ron just walks in the room.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
he like froze when she asked him into her bedroom, by the way.
Yeah.
And Hermione was like, come on.
Yeah,
keep
we don't
walking.
need to bother them. Yeah. Now, this is gross because Harry is an adult and Ginny's a minor. So this is pedophilia.
Is she still 15? She hasn't even turned 16 at this point.
I don't know when
she is
Ginny's
16.
birthday
I don't know.
is.
Wait, when's her birthday?
When's Ginny's birthday? Ginny Weasley.
11th August. Okay, so yeah, she's
about to turn.
Yeah, she's about to turn 16.
16. So he's 17 kissing a 15-year-old? Throw him in Azkaban.
What about Crumb then?
Well.
But yeah, it's crazy
that he doesn't come back at all. Oh, am I forgetting? I'm totally forgetting.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, so they make out. Great. Ron interrupts. Then it's awkward. Ginny like hides her face, and then they don't get to like have a closing moment. Harry just kind of like leaves, and then Ron takes Harry out into the garden and like scolds him.
Yeah,
he becomes
gives him
very
a
big
proper
brother.
Telling off.
Yeah, and he's like, "Don't kiss her." Now, I do want to say, I wish Harry had been like, first of all, she kissed me.
Yeah.
She initiated the kiss.
Yeah. She called me into the room, bro.
Right.
I was surprised he didn't say that either, or as well, I guess I should say.
I am of two minds. First of all, I do kind of like this like big brother energy that Ron has at this moment, trying to protect Ginny.
Yeah.
I wish he had the same energy for like Dean Thomas instead of just yelling at Ginny last year.
Yes, yeah. This is more. Yeah, I think maybe obviously this situation is so specific, so that's why I didn't have a problem with Ron kind of laying into Harry a little bit here, even though obviously Ginny did ask Harry into her room, but he's basically saying like, you ended it with her, so why are you like doing this? Because obviously she wants to be with you, so you can't be just like kissing her whenever you want. Which I think Harry does understand that, which is why he doesn't really push back too much with. Yeah. He's just like, it won't happen again. I won't do it again.
Yeah. So, and that was also when I remembered, I was like, oh, they are officially broken up. I did forget that happened in the last book.
Yeah. He was like, he did the whole thing of they might use you to get to me. So we can't do this because I don't want anything to happen to you.
I feel like they would use her anyway. Right? She's still Ron's sister.
Any of the Weasleys. This is what I'm saying. The Weasleys have to go into hiding as soon as the Ministry falls, you would think. Or just like literally
go back
in
to
the
Hogwarts.
House. Oh yeah, she's going to go back to Hogwarts. That's right. Yeah, they could just like take her from there.
The Carrows are gonna just put her in the dungeon?
Yeah, the whole Hogwarts thing. I'm so interested in what was actually happening there. We couldn't
think
even
about it too long.
Yeah, because then you would be like,
what?
I guess because Snape's in charge, he can just make sure nothing goes too far, basically. But how do we know Snape cares about any of the other kids, y'all? We don't. I don't know if he does.
Yeah,
this is the thing.
So
I don't know if he does care about.
Also, at what point do they know? Does everyone in the Wizarding world know that he's going to be the headmaster?
When does everyone find that out?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They've now Albus died at the end of the school year. The Ministry of Magic would have had to be like, hey, we have to find a headmaster for the school, the only school in the Wizarding world.
Well, it probably was going to be Minerva, but then because of this, obviously, like Voldemort taking over, they were like, no, it's going to be Severus.
But that's the thing is, like, in the Daily Prophet, it was like already reported that Snape killed him. That's the story.
Yeah.
So it's weird how do you even write out of that? How you've already laid the groundwork that he killed Dumbledore. I don't even know how you then be like, he actually didn't, and he's gonna be the headmaster, by the way.
Girl, look at American politics. You just get the right people in office, and they're like, no, it's fine. We'll fly Andrew Tate to America. God. It really is just like insane that it is such a quick flip, but with certain things happening in the world, I'm like, you know what?
It is going to be very weird reading this book in 2025.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just such a shame that this is like the world. This is the reality of our world right now as we're reading this. Because I would have never.
Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
Never ever thought.
So, luckily, Charlie shows up to distract everyone.
Everyone's on about Bill. I think Charlie's the hot one. Imagine like Kit Connor. That's what I'm picturing.
So later in the chapter, she like specifically calls out Charlie's muscles, and I was like,
"This is what I'm saying."
Hello, what's happening?
Oh, Kit Connor just did a photo shoot recently too for I think it was like a magazine or something, and I was like, "Hello." Yeah, he's beefy.
Charlie shows up. Obviously, immediately, Molly's like, "Oh, it's time to get a haircut. It's time to get a proper haircut."
She like comes at him with the shears.
Yeah.
Snip, snip, bitch.
And then for dinner, Tonks, Lupin, and Hagrid all show up to celebrate the festivities. So they're going to have dinner out in the garden. They have a bunch of tables all lined up because of the amount of people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
They have decorated the outdoors. It's very fun. There's a bunch of like there's like hanging 17. There's a bunch of hanging 17 lanterns around the garden that the twins have put up. And then Hermione's like basically shooting like streamers out of her wand and like decorating the trees. And she like manages to like enchant the tree to turn the leaves like brilliant gold, which is incredible.
Hermione.
Incredible. A tree.
What is happening?
Not a branch, not a leaf. A tree.
A tree.
Okay, go off, Queen.
Yeah, you better compliment her, Ron.
And so that's when Ron's like, wow, what a wonderful job you're doing, Hermione. And she's like,
if you saw this in real life, how could you not be like, oh my God, that's incredible? Why do you need a book to tell you?
Every day I would spend in the Wizarding world, I would be like, holy fuck. You can do that?
This is amazing.
I was just getting ready to like buy the ribbon and then like pull it on the scissors to like curl it. Like that's what I was prepared to do.
I was going to blow the balloons up with a little air pump.
I just popped some popcorn just so I could thread the needle through all the popcorn kernels. Like,
wow,
this is crazy.
That's a whole gold gleaming tree.
Like, I just want to imagine decorating for Christmas, even though they say like Flitwick does it or whatever. The joy of decorating for Christmas would be incredible.
It would know no bounds.
Oh, my home would look like, bitch, it would look like Charles Dickens in here.
I'm imagining the Beauty and the Beast, the like Christmas movie one, whatever that.
Oh yes,
whatever that is.
Enchanted Christmas.
Enchanted Christmas, yeah, where they do like the shot of like going up the tree with like the little angel character. Oh, that would just be like every Christmas. What is her name?
Angelique.
Yeah, it's Bernadette Peters. Yeah,
yes.
Angelique.
Iconic.
Amazing. Yeah.
So at this point, they still haven't had dinner yet, but they're getting all the, dishes out on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Molly comes with this massive snitch cake.
Yeah.
And she has made herself.
Mm-hmm.
With probably the help of magic, I would assume. But she brings out the snitch cake, places it on the table. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
They're talking to Hagrid, and he mentions, refers to them being, he was like, oh, I'm going to have to show you, there's a couple new baby unicorns that were born. I'm going to have to show you when you guys come back to school. And they're all like,
do you know, Adam, if that would have been me, and Hagrid told me that, I would have been like, hey, guys, how about maybe can we just go back just for like the first week? Is that okay?
Hey,
if he told me this, I would be like, you have baby unicorns there? I'm sorry.
Or like when they finally
Voldemort
go back.
is going to have to wait.
when they finally get back at the end of the book, like, hey, can we just, before
real quick.
Just really quick.
Before anyone knows we're here. I just want to
walk the grounds really quick.
Yeah.
If we could.
I would be like, hey, Harry, you're old enough you can just apparate now. I would be like, can we do a little visit real quick before the wedding? You're going to go back there after the wedding, Hagrid? Can we just pop on over there? If someone told me there was a baby unicorn, I would be like, I am planning a visit to that immediately. I don't care what we're doing. I don't care about the Horcruxes. We're going to see them.
I don't care about this wedding.
I might die. I'm going to see these damn baby unicorns before I die, y'all.
Baby unicorns.
That was crazy to me that no one had a reaction. I was like, y'all are not. Where's Charlie? Charlie's my person. Charlie would get it.
Who in the order knows that they're not going back to Hogwarts? Is it just Molly and Arthur?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't think they've told anyone else yet.
Interesting. Okay. For some reason, I just thought everyone knew. So
all the order members? No, I don't think they've told. I mean, I guess Molly and Arthur have been kind enough to not tell anyone else because they just know it's like it wouldn't be good for anyone else to know. Yeah.
But Hagrid does give Harry a gift. He gives him a moleskin bag.
Yeah.
At first, when he pulled it out, I thought it said moleskin, and then I was like the Notebook. But no, it's a bag.
Like the Notebook brand.
Yeah. It's a bag that apparently like only the owner can like see what's in it or like pull out the things that are inside.
Fascinating.
Love that.
Yeah, great gift, Hagrid.
That's like, I feel like that should be like a standard gift anyone had.
Yeah,
I think
in the Wizarding World. Hello.
So that's a lovely gift that he gets. And then as they're like, so Molly's getting nervous. She's like, Arthur's not back from work yet. This is really weird.
What's going on with that?
And then she's like, well, I guess we should just start eating because, we need to eat. I don't know why he's not back.
You don't want the food to get cold.
Right as she says that, a silvery wispy thing that ends up being a ferret. Isn't it a ferret? A weasel, of course. A weasel shows up and speaks with Arthur's voice. And it says, the Minister of Magic is coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I ask you a question about the Patronus thing?
Sure.
When you send your Patronus to send a message, do you just like do a little expecto patronum there on the spot and then you tell it to say something and then it goes? Or do you say the message out loud? Do you have to say the message out loud at all? Can you just expecto patronum and then like point the... Do you see what I mean? Because we know expecto patronum is a spell, but then there has to be a second step, right? Like
maybe it's like a hat. Like maybe it's like expect patro, and then it's like just half the version. And that's like the
expecto patronum. What is like what's Latin for message?
That's a great question, actually.
Because it has to be like a little add-on bit, correct? Surely.
Nuntius.
Yeah, expecto patronum nuntius.
Something like that.
But then what? How does it know what it wants you to say, or how does it know what it should say? This is never clarified.
It's never clarified. Do they show it in the film? They just show like. They just show somebody getting. They just show the message. They don't show like how it's
and
sent,
then it's
right?
like we see like a representation of the ministry falling. I'm trying to remember if we see because his Kingsley's Patronus is a lynx, I believe. Love that I remember that. Yeah, it is a lynx. Because it's supposed to come in, but I think in the movie it's not that clear. It's just like a white orb. Yeah, it comes into which is kind of crazy because we have established in this universe that they're actual animals already with the 5th movie.
Mm-hmm. And
obviously Harry's stag Patronus in book 3. So
yeah, it's also interesting. I mean, like, also, it's so crazy. This also is such crazy magic because it's like going from London to wherever the fuck they live. Like, it's traveling that entire distance.
No, that's the other thing.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Adam, you'd have to tell it where to go as well.
Wouldn't you? Or does it just know?
I don't know. That's why I'm like, the whole thing with the message is confusing to me as well. Because I'm like, we know expecto patronum creates it, but that's all we know. Because Harry did it a million times and it never said anything to anyone.
No.
With just expecto patronum.
Yeah. But he was never intending to send a message. Well, he was sending a message to the Dementors.
Because I'm imagining,
saying, back the fuck up.
Yeah. Get away, bitch.
Yeah.
I think that it is one of those situations, though, where we're just not supposed to ask questions.
Oh, that's everything. That's all.
Yeah. I'm like, it's just another one of those. We're just like, okay, cool.
So the Minister of Magic is coming. So Lupin and Tonks are like, we gotta go. We can't explain. Bye. Sorry. And they leave.
Just because he's a werewolf, that's what we're supposed to assume.
I didn't know. Because he's been trying to like get in with the werewolves.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're like now they're like be on the lookout for Lupin too. I don't know. But then couldn't it have just been that Remus left? Why does Tonks have to leave too?
I don't know.
Unless they don't know that the like Aurors are, it's like, oh, the Auror, they don't know that, like, because she's an Auror, she's working with the Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, maybe.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's part of the Order, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We learn later that Tonks is pregnant. But I don't think that is enough to explain why he's like, we shouldn't be here and just immediately leaves. Because I'm like, shouldn't matter. That's why I interpreted when they do the rescue mission for Harry, though, or the transporting him, the 7 Potters situation, when she like lands and everything. That's why he is so pale, though, because he's like, it's not just her, it's her and the baby that he's like worrying about now. But I don't know if we might get confirmation of that later. I can't remember if that's officially confirmed or not, that she's pregnant at that time. She's already pregnant at that time.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
So Rufus Scrimgeour shows up with Arthur. He looks like shit.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
He's not looking good. This is now the second time. The second time Harry has ever talked to him, and both times has happened at the Burrow, which I find very interesting.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't come to Privet Drive. It's not really the place he wants to visit.
So he shows up. I would love to be. How much do the Delacours know? do you
Oh my
think?
God, I know. Can you imagine? They're just like,
Isn't that the minister? Hello? Is that the minister of magic?
Yeah.
Like you're just at dinner. Like
oh my goodness.
you're over at like Michael's parents' house, and the
The PM just comes in.
minister just walks in, and you're like,
yeah. Or if the opposite, like I'm with like a French family, and then Macron just like walks in, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh hey. Hey.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, ça va?
So strange. I'm also curious how much Fleur told them about everything going on in general.
Oh no, Fleur, they know everything. Fleur was like, and very fast French. Yeah. Harry Potter, Voldemort. She's like going on and on.
But also like, it's so funny too to think about the fact that like Voldemort is like the greatest living threat to wizard kind in Britain. Like what? Like during the last Wizarding War, was France just like?
Where was it? In Europe?
You okay? Let us know if you need anything.
Well, it would have been Europe in general then, yeah, because it would have been Grindelwald was like the last.
That was the last one, yeah.
Wasn't it? So.
Yeah.
Come on, Europe, get it together, because the UK was still a part of Europe, the European Union at this point. Or no, is it the European Union? Yeah, European Union, right? Isn't that what you would say?
Yeah. At the time of this book, yes, I believe. Yeah. But they weren't officially a member. They were like a separate kind of member. It was very strange.
Okay.
Anyway, so he shows up and he's like, "Hi, I'd like to speak to Harry, Ron, and Hermione privately." And they're like,
"Yeah,
okay." So they go into the sitting room. They're for sure it's about the fact that somehow the ministry has found out that they're going to skip school.
He knows.
And he's going to call them truant. And he's like, "No, actually, I'm here to read you the will and give you your items from Albus Dumbledore."
And they're like, face crack.
So this is where we find out that Harry's like, "Why are you doing it now? This is so late." And Hermione immediately is like, "It's because they've already looked through all the items and they are at the 31-day mark, so they have to give them over to us because they haven't found any of them being dark magic."
Yeah.
Now, I do want to say there's supposed to be a funny bit in here where he asks, like, "Are you interested in practicing wizarding law?" And she's like, "No, I'm interested in like helping the world or something like that."
Yeah. Actually making a difference in the world, thanks.
Yeah. But Hermione, this would be making a difference in the world. It's like holding the ministry accountable for their actions.
And I think she does end up
I think that's valuable too. I think it's okay to realize that there are lawyers who do good work by making sure that people follow what they're supposed to be doing. Anyway.
Hello.
I just want to insert that there. So yes, so they have confiscated the items because they just decided that they could be dark magic to figure out what the fuck they were. They couldn't figure anything out, and so now they're giving them over.
Yeah.
So here we go. Ronald Bilious Weasley.
Bilious.
Horrible. Terrible.
Bilious.
He is given the Deluminator, which we have most recently seen in book 6, I believe, when they went to pick up Horace Slughorn. Thank you. I was like going to say Scrimshire. Horace Slughorn, but then obviously also in book 1, this is the famous like putter outer.
Yeah,
is what it's called back then, but it's officially called a Deluminator. We also learned that it's one of a kind, and Dumbledore probably invented it himself.
Yeah, an original work,
an AD original, Albus Dumbledore original.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool. After every item, Scrimgeour asks why he would give him that or whatever. Well, first he's like, "Were you close with Dumbledore?" And Ron was like, "No." And they're like, "Shut up." Shut up.
Hermione's like,
because he just is trying to figure out what all of this means, because obviously it means something. They've clued into the fact that he's giving them items for a specific purpose, but they're not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Ron's item. Hermione is given a copy of the book Tales of Beetle the Bard, which she's never read. We'll find out.
She gets quite emotional about it, which I thought was really sweet.
She does.
She was like very moved by him giving that to her.
I also liked because it's written with runes on the front, and she had just in the last chapter been like, should I have a book to like decipher runes just in case? I was like, good job, Hermione.
Hello. Yeah.
So she gets that book. He again asks why, and she was like, because he knew I liked books.
He knew I liked books. Okay.
And then Harry gets the first snitch he ever caught. And this is where we find out about snitch lore.
Yeah, I love the snitch lore. It's amazing. I'm here for it.
So he's like, well, obviously he's trying to send you a message. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, because of the flesh memories. I don't like the term flesh memories.
Yeah, we could have that. It didn't need to be flesh.
I didn't like flesh memory. So a snitch apparently is not touched by a human until it's officially caught. And this is to ensure that should there be any kind of question of which seeker caught it first.
Yeah.
That way the snitch could tell, like, it could respond to the person that touched it first.
Yeah.
But somehow it's going to maybe give them a message. So he takes the snitch he grabs it with his hand from Scrimgeour. Nothing happens, obviously. And they're all like, well, look at that. Scrimgeour also tries to be like, I noticed there was a snitch cake in the yard. What does it mean?
Yeah, Hermione was me.
She was like, he likes fucking Quidditch. What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up.
It can't be that he's just really talented at Quidditch. Oh my God. No. And was the Quidditch captain. The youngest Quidditch player in a century.
Correct.
Nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do.
Yeah, go
It's
off,
actually
Hermione.
his only interest.
It truly.
Truly. And then the other thing he is bequeathed is the sword of Godric Gryffindor, except the ministry has been like, but we're not going to give it to you. Because we decided
have that. It wasn't his
that is an important historic artifact, and so we are putting it. The British are going to do what the British are going to do, which is take historic artifacts from different places that it's not theirs.
Oh my God.
And put it in a damn museum.
This was so crazy too, because I was like, okay, well then where are the other ones? This is the only one that y'all know about. Like, and you don't have anything else kept because we obviously know Voldemort has messed with the other two, or we learn. But I'm like, that's all you have. Suddenly you have the right to keep this one. You don't know where any of the other ones are. Like, it'd be different if it was like, it's the final one in the collection that we have on display. Right. No. Crazy.
So he's not getting the Sword of Gryffindor. I guess we'll never see it again in this book. That's such a bummer. And this is the point where Harry and Rufus Scrimgeour basically nearly come to blows.
Yeah.
So they yell at each other, and Harry calls them out on being like, so instead of, trying to find Voldemort, keep the wizarding community safe, tell the truth in the Daily Prophet, you've spent a month just tinkering around with a Deluminator and a copy of a book and a snitch. That's what you did? That's what
you've been doing?
Meanwhile, Azkaban, people broke out of Azkaban.
Meanwhile, I almost died in the sky.
Right, I almost died in the sky. Mad Eye Moody's dead.
Yeah.
No one's saying anything.
Mad Eye did die in the sky. My owl is no longer with me.
Rufus is like, how dare you? And points his wand, jabs his wand into Harry's chest, which it burns a hole in his shirt, which is crazy.
Yeah, what is going on there?
And then they're still yelling at each other, and then this is when Mr. and Mrs. Weasley show up, And they're like, oh, we thought we heard a bit of yelling.
Raised voices.
So I did want to just read. Ron is about to jump up and point his own wand at Scrimgeour, which is probably not a great idea. Scrimgeour says, remembered you're not at school, have you? Remembered that I am not Dumbledore, who forgave your insolence and insubordination? You may wear that scar like a crown, Potter, but it is not up to a 17-year-old boy to tell me how to do my job. It's time you learned some respect. And Harry says, it's time you earned it.
Yeah. Well said.
Correct. So anyway, once the Weasleys interrupt, Rufus Scrimgeour is very embarrassed that he got heated with a 17-year-old.
Yeah, girl.
Newly 17-year-old.
Yeah, girl, come on.
And he goes and he leaves. After this, they all go back outside. They eat dinner really quickly. The damper has been put on the evening, let's say.
For sure.
And then they all, retreat off to their own rooms. The wedding is tomorrow. So Hagrid is just going to stay in a tent in a nearby field. He
better be in one of those tents that has the enlargement enchantments on it. Poor Hagrid. Yeah. Okay.
And then the Golden Trio meet back in Ron's room to discuss what happened. Or discuss all. To discuss.
Wait, I'm so sorry. I just remembered something that I wanted to make a comment about that was a while back. When Charlie shows up.
Yeah.
And then Hagrid is like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have this thought as well? Do you know what I'm going to say? That it was just weird that she made a point to include the bit about the because what happens basically is he's like Norberta.
How's Norbert?
Yeah,
and then Norbert is Norberta because she's actually a girl.
Yes.
And then Hermione asks, how do you know a dragon's a girl or a boy? Which is a fascinating thing because
I thought we were going to get
all the dragons that were in the fourth in the fourth book were all females.
We're all
because
mothers,
they were,
yeah.
So we know that they know there's a way to know.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's because they're super angry.
They're
more female
much
dragons
more vicious.
Are more aggressive.
Yeah, and I was like, is she trying to say something with this as well?
I think she thought it would be funny to be like, actually, this whole time Norbert isn't Norbert. I think the joke is just he's a girl, and then I guess she's well, I did point out that all the dragons in the Triwizard Tournament were girls, and they were all super super intense. So maybe that's how they know. I don't know. I was like, sure.
I hope it was just that. I was like, is she projecting internalized hatred again? I was like, what are we doing with this?
I just thought it was such a. It was specifically, so this book is just chock full of remember when this thing happened back in the day.
Yeah,
Harry has a moment with Hagrid in this chapter where he's like, I remember. Hagrid's like, I can't believe 6 years ago, blah blah blah, and Harry has the well, yeah, you burst down the door and you turned Dudley's, gave him a pigtail and da da da. So there's all of these that she's going to keep doing in this book series of being remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this as we draw to a close.
Yeah.
And this one is supposed to be
for
we
book
really
4.
haven't seen Charlie since book 1, really, in a real meaningful way.
Mm-hmm. Book 4.
And so
you mean?
Oh, book 4, yeah. But they didn't even talk to Charlie, really. They he watched Charlie had a conversation with Hagrid that Harry wasn't really there for.
Yeah.
Technically. But then drawing back to book 1 to be remember because Norbert and Charlie took Norbert and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought it would have been funnier if Norbert was one of the dragons in the Triwizard Tournament.
Yeah, got that big. Yeah.
I'm shocked that she didn't make it that way. But
yeah.
Okay, so They eat dinner. Hagrid's going to... Okay, so the Golden Trio go upstairs, and they're going to discuss everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Harry is miffed at his gift. They can't really figure out what any of the gifts mean. Obviously, they know they all mean something.
Yeah.
But just like the Ministry, they can't decipher what the clues are.
Yeah, they're not any closer to knowing what's going on here.
Ron is pleased with his gift because at least it like has a function. I'm sure Hermione's gonna love cracking into a new book. That'll be fun for her. Harry is like, so I got a snitch. But then he's like, I was trying to be really careful about how not to come across that I knew how to open it or whatever. Because Hermione has forgotten that Harry's first, when he caught it in his mouth.
He tried to eat it.
He puts the snitch to his lips and gives it a little kiss. And then suddenly there's writing on the snitch and it says, I open at the close. Dumbledore.
Your face.
Harry already is the only person that's going to be able to access this. You could actually do it doesn't have to be a full Sphinx riddle. Like it can be a little bit more
on the nose.
Detailed. Yeah. Okay. I open at the close. They clearly have no idea what the fuck that means. To be honest, I don't remember at this very moment. I'm sure I will at another point, but
yeah.
That's what that says.
Mm-hmm.
Harry's bummed that his gift kind of sucks. And that he also is like, I should have asked him questions when he was still here. That whole thing again. This is why he should have taken the portrait, as I've said. Hermione is curious about...
why didn't you Accio that portrait, girl?
Yeah, while you were Accio all those portrait. Books.
Yeah.
Take that portrait off the wall. So Hermione has never heard of the Tales of Beedle the Bard, but Ron has, which is very surprising.
Yeah.
So the Tales of Beedle the Bard is basically supposed to be like Aesop's Fables.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the one-for-one she's going for. Here are some of the kids' stories found in Beetles. The Fountain of Fair Fortune, The Wizard and the Hopping Pot, and my favorite, Babbity Rabbity and Her Cackling Stump.
Babbity Rabbity!
So anyway, Hermione reminds Ron that, of course, both her and Harry have never heard of Tales of Mr. Beedle, nor his bard.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't know any of these stories. And then she says, like, well, we've heard of, Muggle stories like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Cinderella. And Ron's like, that sounds like a disease, which is so funny.
Cinderella.
And then they hear a noise outside in the hallway. So they're like, well, we should go off to bed so we don't get caught talking to each other or whatever. Because tomorrow is a big day. They have to get plenty of sleep. It's the wedding.
The wedding.
And Ron makes a joke about being like, it wouldn't be good to start the wedding day with the bridegroom's mother doing a triple murder, which is very funny. And that's it. That's the chapter.
Yes, it is. Very well read, Adam.
Thank you.
Well read and well said.
Thank you.
That wraps up this chapter. Next week we'll be reading chapter 8, The Wedding. The wedding of the century. The wedding. Probably the last wedding for quite a while, though, actually, in the wizarding world, because no one's going to be throwing weddings anytime soon after this next chapter. We do have a couple of comments. Ashley Dill, I'm guessing, is this the most recent episode?
Yes, Fallen Warrior.
This is from the last chapter, Fallen Warrior. Is it confirmed? Oh, sorry. This is from Ashley Dillon. Is it confirmed that Fawkes is the phoenix that their wands come from? He/she can't be the only one. Is he/she? Yes, for Voldemort and Harry's wands for sure. But we have no idea for like other wands that get phoenix feathers.
How many phoenixes are there in the world? Like, it feels like Dumbledore has a phoenix and it's like, wow, Dumbledore has a phoenix.
Yeah, it's literally, I hate to even bring this up because I'm not really like a Fantastic Beasts girly, but there are, I think there's another Phoenix in that universe. For the other Dumbledore person, someone that becomes a Dumbledore or whatever. And then Ashley Dillon also commented, wow, what is a heartstring? Like a vein, an aorta? Are there multiple hearts in a dragon and it connects them? I don't know. Does the dragon have to die to put one in a wand? Do all the creatures have to die in order to make a wand? Well, I suppose not. The unicorn can just give a hair. But then how does that work? Do you ask it? Brush it as you would a horse? Wait for it to fall out? I have so many questions now. I know for a fact Ollivander commented on when he plucked a hair from a unicorn's tail, it nearly like kicked him in the gut or something like that. He says like he nearly, gouged me with his horn, something like that. So I don't think the unicorns are giving permission, unfortunately, for their tail hairs to be plucked. Yeah. I don't know about Fox either.
But then you have to think about all of those wands. There's hundreds, if not thousands of wands in there.
Also, you don't have to pluck a horse's tail hair. You can literally just cut it. So,
well, that's the thing is it feels like I don't know if we should be cutting unicorn hairs.
Maybe it's like Rapunzel's hair.
Yeah.
It needs to be in its full glory.
Needs to be, yeah.
And then these are from Spotify. Alexandra Knepper. I hope I said that right. Knepper. How would you say that? Knepper. Said blur. We accidentally said blur, I think. That was so funny. And then also said, I don't think they ever explained the wand thing with an upside down smiley face, which is exactly how I feel about that. Hee hee. And then also said, it makes me sad that Hedwig dies in a cage. It's one of the scenes that I prefer the movie over the book. The other being Amos Diggory's mourning over Cedric. My boy! Yeah, it is sad that she dies in a cage. I like that she's flying free in the movie. I think they righted that for sure. Thank you very much for all the comments that y'all leave. We always love hearing what you guys think. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so that we can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else the Minister of Magic will show up to your door and burn a hole in your shirt. In your hoodie, Adam.
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HP Anxious or YouTube and TikTok. I feel like this always happens at this point where I start reading it and then I get tongue tied. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, HP Anxious, or YouTube and TikTok, the Ampliverse. We are hosted on Spotify for podcasters, so thank you to them, and are a proud member of the Ampliverse. Check them out at theampliverse.com. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Ari.
And as always, whatever the spell is to make the tree shimmer gold. Golden tree.
Yeah.
Tree gold.
Tree gold. Paint me.
Paint me. Golden tree.